When we look at the migration of peoples out of Africa, right? Homo sapiens, our earliest Homo sapiens fossil to date comes from Morocco, right? And then the next oldest is Ethiopia. And it seems that for at least 100, maybe 150,000 years, sapiens are found only within the African continent. About 125,000 years ago, we start to spread out.
And boy, did we ever start to spread out. Some went north toward Europe, some headed east toward Asia. Those that were headed toward Asia eventually ended up in North America. But timing is the big question.
Well, that all depends on when you ask that question. Because 100 years ago, we thought humans came to North America 5,000 years ago, until one day, Fort Rock, Oregon blew that estimation clean out of the water.
After Luther Cressman found the sagebrush sandals in the Fort Rock cave back in the 1930s, 1940s, every rancher with a shovel started digging around out in the desert looking for ancient cultural resources.
And those sandals would go down in history as one of the first things ever carbon dated with its invention in the 1950s. It's a practice that's commonplace now.
When those sagebrush sandals were initially dated, one of the first things to be dated using radiocarbon dating techniques by Willard Libby back in, I think it was 1951. When we got the date back there of 10,000 years, that almost doubled our time that we thought people had been in the Americas.
And for decades now, we've operated under the belief that humans came over on an ice bridge during the last ice age when an ice-free corridor opened up about 15,000 years ago. That is, until a man went for a walk in Harney County.
One of the folks from the BLM was just kind of cruising around out there and found an area with really tall sagebrush, which suggests that there was at least one time water there and deep roots. And when he went to kind of check it out, he noticed that the soil hadn't been disturbed.
The Rimrock Draw Rock Shelter, as it is called today, began to challenge some of the scientists' beliefs about North American human migration.
I think that the last date that I saw that they had pulled out of there was over 16,000 radiocarbon years. So, between 16 and 17,000 years old.
But all those decades of belief came crashing down overnight just this past September when some footprints were discovered in White Sands, New Mexico that were double confirmed to be over 20,000 years old.
Yeah, so the White Sands area in New Mexico, it's a great site because we have lots of preservation due to the environment. It's incredibly dry, not a lot of wind, not a lot of water to kind of wipe clean some of the things that we found. So there are all kinds of footprints down there.
We knew there were mammoths and sloths in the area at that time, but until their discovery in 2009, nobody thought there were human footprints to be found.
And so to find human footprints that date back to between 23 and 26,000 years, I believe is what it is. That's, again, another chapter in the human migration around the globe. And it does change our dates, it does change our perspectives.
Think about it. This makes us completely rethink all of our theories about human migration in North America. But even more, think about this. Geologic time is looked at way different than human time. And if you think about this event in terms of human time,
in archaeology, we throw around things like 23,000 years and 16,000 years and it doesn't sound like they're that far apart, but that's 7,000 years, right? And we've only been counting years for 2,023 of them, and some of those are retroactive. So that's a huge chunk of time.
That's right. The time difference between humans in Harney County and humans in New Mexico is literally the same length of time as all of recorded human history so far.
We're still writing this story. It hasn't been fully fleshed out. We're finding more things now and in the last 20 years than we found in all of history before that.
For Central Oregon Daily News, I'm Scott Elness.
Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on more videos from Central Oregon Daily News. And for more news from the high desert, just visit centraloregondaily.com.